You reckon Spire's the fastest Chev team?
Just on cars, yeah.
Well, what else could it be?
Well, in the lane and stuff, there might be little positions and things like that.
Say, I think a lot of the rookies doing really well.
You can put Brock down the middle pack.
Look at Will, he's bloody more hits than Elvis.
Dave Reynolds, who's been around for 100 years.
I'm going to get a phone call after this episode telling me I'm an idiot.
100% you are.
But I disagree, RD. I think in this one, you should have told your drivers to pull the finger out and get on with it. You might have made the same.
Why didn't you tell him that when we were face-to-face with him at the track?
Oh no! He's in defence! The boat's in defence! They're all in defence! Oh, unbelievable!
Sound check.
Sound check. Oh my God, these soda waters.
Cheers,
Jeez, mate. These soda waters are so hard to crack.
Yeah, no, there's a fair bit of pressure in the old girls. Episode 108, Supercars AGP debrief, mate. NASCAR Phoenix debrief also.
It is. So if you don't like supercars, you want to go straight to NASCAR, I'll put a timestamp in here when that is.
God, you're good.
But if you do love supercars, don't skip, I guess.
Listen to the whole episode.
Yeah, just listen to the whole lot. But it is, Melbourne Grand Prix, mate. That was unreal. The racing, I don't know what it is about this track, but it just breeds good racing.
There's something in the Melbourne water. The drivers they start throwing haymakers every time they come here. But sprint races, I think, is a big part of it. Supercars obviously play support category to Formula One.
Yep.
So they're not the main event, even though we still think they are.
Yeah.
But, yeah, short, sharp races, no pit stops. You know, every second counts. You can't make anything back up in strategy. And the guys just start throwing haymakers from lap 1 to lap 20.
I like it. You should be in the pre-show.
Thanks, mate.
You and Larko make a good pairing. You should do the Bathurst pre-show.
reckon?
No, actually, I don't. It was really not enough energy, more passion. No, I do agree, though, that maybe it's the sprint racing. I think it's not just the length of the race that dictates how exciting it is, though, but the fact that it's 4 races. So it's not many points per race. So if you do have a DNF, the impact is not much. Like I spoke to Brock after, you were with me when we spoke to him, and he kind of laughed and was like, I only lost like 30 points. Like it really doesn't.
Could have been worse.
If it was a 2-race weekend with 150 points per race, you would be devastated. But he didn't really. He's like, if shit happens and it's only 30 points, I lost or something. Like it was not much. So I think maybe their mentality changes on that weekend and they race. Unfortunately, some of them race all 4 races with that mentality and then don't score any points in all 4. So 300 points still gone to waste. But you're right, the sprint race is good, but I do think maybe it's the points because we've seen sprint races as well at, other circuits, back the old 60-60 format. Do you remember that? And it didn't really breed that much excitement. The racing wasn't amazing, but it was still like 2 race weekends and things and also at a circuit that, like the Grand Prix seems to make it better than like a Winton. When we had sprint racing at Winton, it was never that exciting. But you go to the Grand Prix, maybe the long corners, bigger braking zones, they can actually, through 9-10 get a run on the exit of someone, which is good too about Gen 3. We've probably been critical in Gen 3, but one real positive is you can follow closer. I remember the old car when like Scotty Mack was in the FGX, I think it was at the time. That thing was a jet, but you could not follow them because all of our cars had so much downforce. The dirty air coming off the back of them was just, you were just understeering. You had no grip yourself. So, all right, for a leader or the top 3 or 4 ones, you got mid-pack. That 9-10, the fast left-right.
Aero wash.
Oh, my God, dude. The amount of understeer you'd get through there. So you'd always, I remember if you were trying to defend, you'd just back up a little bit on the way in, so they had to be really close. And then you just get the run through 10 and gap them up to 11. But now, Gen 3 seems like you can follow super close and turn 11 is everyone's under threat there. Like Brody and Brock, I thought that race was unreal. And every time into turn 11, Brock was under threat.
Yeah.
So, I think it's much better in Gen 3 around there.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And you actually notice Brody doing that a lot through there. He would, because they're less aero now on these Gen 3 cars, you only need a little bit of your front splitter in clear air to actually make it hook up a bit. And you saw Brody was right on the grass almost when he was following. So you just get a little bit of his front splitter on there and it was helping enough for him to stay right in the boot lid. So it's a good point that you made.
That's that left through turn 8 you're talking about. Yeah. I noticed that actually, and you're right. You just keep enough on the nose to be able to stay close on full throttle. But no, I don't know. I loved it. I don't know what. Honestly, maybe it's a mixture of Gen 3, but then I even look back like prior to when I was racing and it wasn't for points. You go back early 2000s or mid 2000s and the racing was still unbelievable.
Well, when it wasn't points, they were happy to tear shit up and have a real go then, weren't they?
The owners weren't. I did laugh. Someone said to Steve, have you guys all told your drivers just to, it doesn't matter, it doesn't, go nuts? And he's like, fuck no, it still costs us a lot of money, like, to fix these things.
It's still a relatively tight turnaround before they've got to ship them off to NZ also too. So I think I was chatting to some of the mechanics at Triple Eight and they said they'll get 4 days back at the workshop, I think. So it's still quite a tight turnaround. They obviously have a bit of damage on Brock's car. So there's still that side of it you've got to work out too, logistically.
100%. And it's so funny because someone will say, Scott's being paid to say this, but it's not at all. I'm not dick riding the Gen 3 car right now, but we saw Brock's car, massive damage. The initial feedback was that the bolt-on bits, which was the clip, the rear clip and everything, should be able to just come straight off, and the center of the car should be good. So that's one of the things that we were trying to achieve with the new car. So with the tight turnaround, like you say, getting to New Zealand, I don't know that it would have been achievable with the old car.
Old chassis, yeah.
Because I don't think they had a spare chassis ready that was able to go to New Zealand if they had to. So
you'd be burning a lot of midnight oil if it was the old chassis, for sure, you see, because now they just pull the rear off. It looks spectacular. There's shit flying everywhere, but as you say,
it did look cool. Made for a good content clip, didn't it?
Shit was flying everywhere because it's designed to come off, so it doesn't damage the main part of the chassis, and then they'll just bolt them back on. So that was probably highlighted that. Yeah,
we didn't really preview the race at all because we were so busy. We had so many great podcasts lined up. Carl Reindler, James Hinchcliffe joined us, and then also we recorded one as well with Jamie Whincup that's actually just come out. Everyone will have seen that now, so I hope you enjoyed that one. But we didn't preview it. And one thing I want to talk about now is qualifying. We saw the challenge. I think it was qualifying 3 for race 3. 11 cars, I believe, didn't make the finish line to complete a second run, I guess not the finish line, but the start line to start it before the checkered flag dropped. What are your thoughts on that? Roland Dane was pretty vocal. We saw him having a fight with almost a fisticuffs with Tim Edwards. I do love. We bumped into RD as well when we entered the track.
Who would win that fight, just quickly? You got money on.
I still feel like RD would be a bit of a pit bull. Like, you reckon?
Bit of an ankle biter, you reckon?
I reckon he'd be an ankle biter. He'd get down low and just tackle him, I reckon. But it would be a good scrap. Put in the comments who you got between Tim Edwards and Roland Dane in a scrap. But, yeah, he was into him, and he was saying that, well, actually, I don't want to give away. I don't want to talk about this too much. I want your opinion first. But what do you think about qualifying being 12 minutes and some people not being able to get their lap?
I think it's shit if not everyone can get their second lap. I think everyone should get the same amount within the time frame.
Yeah.
A couple of things that probably contribute to, I think, you got cars waddling around, teams maybe not managing their time effectively or their outlaps effectively. But one thing with the Grand Prix is they are the support category. The pit lane's really long here. Yeah. So did some teams just forget? Did that catch them out? It's really long, and then it's a long lap too. So to get back around, like you almost probably need 3 minutes, I would imagine, from the time they push you back to get back around on an outlap. I would say it's something like
including the lane time.
It's a lot longer than normal. So I think, and they're the support category. So if something goes wrong, then the clock doesn't stop. So what it says on the program, if it says 12 minutes, maybe they only get 9. I'm not saying they did get 9, but things change. So
even when they left the lane, I think by the time they drove out of the paddock around the warm-up lap to start their lap, I think it was 8 minutes 40 when I saw Cam Waters start the lap at the start of the train.
Yeah, so they're sort of things that happen when you're not the main show. So, you know, you do have to just bank one straight away and get stuck straight. You kind of can't wait for the track to evolve and do the last-minute dash because the risk is just so high. Or you can't do the super slow warm-up. So, yeah, I think I've probably wrapped it on a bit there, but they're kind of my thoughts on it. But I've got no concrete thoughts. I just think those things kind of contributed to the problem that we saw.
Yeah, I think the solution's a really hard thing to find. And you know, Roland was saying to Tim Edwards that when you're down the back end of the pit lane, it's so hard because people can react and roll out in front of you and block you. So I have spent a lot of my time down that back end, unfortunately. So I can say that, yes, that is one of the biggest challenges. I remember somewhere, I think it was Darwin, David Reynolds, he once pretty much drove to the end of the pit lane and waited just to have clean air. So it is something that's always going to be a challenge. I don't know how you combat it. I do think maybe supercars need to reassess the entire format for the weekend. I do like how Career Cup only have the 3 races, but I like that in qualifying they have one long qualifying and your fastest and second fastest lap time for that session is where you start race 1 and 2, and race 3 is accumulation of your points for that final race. I'm not saying that's the fix. I'm just saying there's maybe something we could look at where we have one longer session where you could do 5 lap times if you want, but they're only going to take their first and second fastest time. And then that maybe is where you start the first 2 races, and then it's an accumulation of points beyond that. Because when they're 12-minute sessions, it is very difficult, and the advantage, I think, is magnified for those at the start of pit lane. I will disagree with RD, though, in that instance, and I think Garth Tander did a really good job in commentary too, saying, actually, yesterday people managed to do it, and in this instance, I think some of the teams got caught napping. You know, particularly Walkinshaw, right? So Walkinshaw, and they proved it in their own garage because they did a really good job with Chaz, sending him out when they did. But I think Woody was about 30 or 40 seconds earlier than Chaz when he left the lane and got traffic. I think they might have been a little bit distracted trying to fix the problem in Woody's car,
Right.
and then panicked when they got it fixed, dropped it and went, not really thinking about the greater picture of the session and how it was running. Because when Woody left, he started the lap and at turn 3, the train was, that's where they were. So like he was starting on the front straight. I think Garth said the pack's really just gone through turn 3. Like he is going to hit this traffic. Walkinshaw definitely could have waited and gone with Chaz just in front of Chaz and they would have got the lap rather than going too early. And then the other cars, the 11 that didn't get it, I swear there could have been 10 of them that could have got on it. I think Triple Eight did the worst job with not Triple Eight, but the objective racing car out of Triple Eight with Jackson Walls.
Yeah.
He was miles behind on the outlap. When Woody passed him, it was really early in the lap. Then when he caught the pack dawdling around, RD, I think you had to be on the radio to your driver saying, just fucking pass everyone because we're not going to get a lap time here, because it wasn't like they missed it by a few seconds.
Yeah.
Woody was going through, when he passed Randall, or Randall passed him back in the last corner, the checkered had already come out. Yeah. Randall was entering the last corner and the checkered's out. They're not even close.
Yeah.
So team there could have told their drivers all to get on with it. It was like they didn't realise because they're still weaving. Like people were warming their tyres out of 11 as if they're going to make it. They all thought, like, they're thinking they're going to make it.
Yeah, they're thinking they'll hold it up for us or whatever, or whatever's going on.
They're just thinking we have heaps of time.
Yeah.
They're still dawdling around warming their tyres thinking we're going to make it to the line. It was almost like no one gave them warning going, hey, actually, we need to get going. We have like 10 seconds to do a 30-second sector. Yeah. Not even close. So
because the lap is so long, hey?
Yeah.
Especially when you're not up. It's okay when you're at full speed if you're cruising around.
100%. But I do empathise with the teams in that part of the lane, like RD was saying. Yeah. But in that particular instance, I actually disagree. I'm going to get a phone call after this episode telling me I'm an idiot.
100% you are.
But I disagree, RD. I think in this one, you should have told your drivers pull their finger out and get on with it, and you might have made the start.
Why didn't you tell him that when we were face-to-face with him at the track?
I do it behind his back.
Yeah, the pit bull would have come out.
Yeah, exactly. He would have bit my ankles. But no, I do think maybe we need to look at the format though, because
it's a great point.
In some instances you can't avoid it. In this one, I think they could have helped themselves a little bit more, but I have been at that end and I have been screwed, so I feel their pain too.
It's a great point. Like they're a support category this weekend, so run a support category format for qualifying, like a Carrera Cup or whatever.
Yeah.
So, maybe I agree with you. I think format just tweak when you are playing second fiddle to Formula One. Otherwise, it works everywhere normally. Hey, Scotty, you know how the hunters just like us like to watch international content, but are forever getting that annoying pop-up saying this content's not available in your region?
I absolutely do, Barbs, and I've actually got the perfect solution that we've been using ourselves, NordVPN. It's a service that protects your internet connection, keeping your data safe while you're out roaming the world on those dodgy Wi-Fi networks. It also hides your location and stops the ads that follow you around after you Google something just once.
It doesn't stop there, Scotty, because one NordVPN subscription can be used on up to 10 devices. So if you're traveling abroad and you want access to the service you're already subscribed to, download NordVPN.
Sounds pretty good, Barbs. Well, to get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, head to nordvpn.com/Apex Hunters United. Our link will also give you 4 months off that 2-year plan. And don't stress, Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee takes away all the risk. I'll make sure that the link to their website is in the description of this podcast. Larko said one of the best things I've ever heard, and it's stuck with me ever since. We were at Bathurst, and he said to me, qualifying, it just goes against everything that we should be doing. You put the fastest guy at the front, the slowest guy at the rear, and then wonder why there's no overtaking.
Yeah, it's so true.
And we're one of the only sports that do it, motorsport. Running, they're starting a line. Obviously, we can't do it with the width of the track, I know, but it's kind of like the theory makes total sense. Like, why the fuck do we do that? And then we complain about no overtaking, and then we, like F1 make all these artificial ways to create overtaking when really we could almost just reverse the grid and problem solved.
Reverse top 10s are always good action back in the day.
They were. But we're doing it with pit lane. We're giving an advantage to the faster cars every single weekend.
Yeah, put them at the back of the line.
Well, it is if you reversed it right, and then teams like, Erebus right now, Premier, any team really in that bottom 50%, you put them at the front 50%, and they get a slightly better advantage to get a second lap.
Great.
Done. Yeah. And then the likes of Tickford, Triple Eight, Walkinshaw, the top teams, and Penrite, they are at a slight disadvantage. And then maybe a qualifying order might be mixed up because the top teams don't. I know they're going to call it artificial, like a lot of the top teams, like Triple Eight and all that, will complain. But I do think you've got to take away sometimes. You've got to take some of the eggs out of their basket. They can't have them all.
Draw it out of a hat each weekend. Who cares?
I don't know. I feel like pit lane is a little bit like qualifying, especially when you have these short sessions. We're just giving you a bigger advantage to the haves. and we're taking away from the have-nots.
Yeah.
In this instance, the have-nots maybe could have done a better job, but it's not to say the next time, even when they execute perfectly, they won't have the same advantages to them as a guy at the front. Because even if Cam Waters, they led this time out, Tickford, if he locked a wheel on his first lap, they have ample amount of time to decide what they're going to do next. Because he's got 2 minutes longer in the session than everyone else.
Yeah.
Like than the guys down the back.
Yeah.
So it is a big advantage. I got to say, Woody is one of the biggest guns. I picked him for the title. But I do feel like he's got to get his emotions in check because in that qualifying session, he got screwed, right? Like they sent him at the wrong time, completely wrong time. And he already had the issue with the mechanical drama. They fixed that. But he unfortunately got traffic. But it wasn't Randall's fault so much. Like I feel like Randall passed him back entering the last corner, which was a bit unnecessary. Like even Randall didn't need to do that.
Bit of dick swinging, you reckon?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think you're like, dude, everyone's bottlenecked here. You're screwed, and you didn't make the line by like more than 10 seconds. You're not even close. But then Woody passed him back on the front straight, swerved at him, and smashed into his door. It might seem small, but some of the stuff we see happen, like when he turned Randall in the race, I feel like there's an element of frustration there. Like when he turned Will last year at QR. He's one of the best drivers in the field, but there's maybe that element of like just letting his emotion get the better of him and door banging Randall when I don't see the benefit. We've got shit wheels anyway that could interlock and tear a steering arm out of the thing, which is what we saw in race 4 with him off the line. So it's just an unnecessary thing that could actually screw your weekend even further than what's just happened.
Yeah, I agree. There's not much to gain out of it. Yeah, and I think, maybe there's a few times where the red mist has crept in and maybe taken away some good results or, ruined a day. But I guess that's kind of one of the things pro fans might like about watching him too. A little bit polarising in that sense too. But
I agree. I'm only saying as someone, if he was down the back every week, we wouldn't even talk about this.
No.
I'm just saying maybe this is what stops him winning or whatever regularly without those little things. But as a fan, you love it. But I'm just saying for him, maybe.
I'm sure Murph, because Murph was fiery, and I'm sure Murph is in his corner. I'm sure that Murph will be having those sort of conversations, I'd imagine, with him about just trying to speed up that learning curve.
Yeah.
But there's still.
I don't want to curve the passion.
No, it's exciting.
The aggression.
Yeah, it's fun for us to watch on the couch. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
How was DJR on the weekend? Brody was
unreal.
Just in the racing league of his own, really. It kind of looked like he could control it when he was second or third. He could pass cars. A lot of guys just waved him past too. So he just seemed to have another level there. Watching the racing, it was a little bit frustrating. Like the race with him and Brock was exciting because Brock did everything he could to hold him up and ended up winning. And you saw that Brody give him a nudge and he went off the grass and let him readdress and all that. So that was a great race.
Yeah.
Really good to watch. But the other races, Brody just did it easy, it looked like.
Yeah. Well, and we saw like Brody's maturity when he accidentally tapped the back of Brock and sent him off. To not then, he let Brock rejoin, but then he also didn't take advantage of having closed the gap back up into turn 11. Yeah. And I really rated that because he probably could have, that was something we would have seen Shane do at Adelaide, I think with James Courtney back at turn 9 years and years ago. He actually went down the inside, they doored each other and he actually let James go. And in that moment, he probably could have pressed on. And even in that instance with Brody and Brock, I thought you've let him rejoin, you're directly behind him. You probably could have gone for the overtake under brakes into 11 and it been a separate, seen as maybe a separate incident.
Yeah. But
I do think it's mature. Like I thought it was good driving. I think he knew he had a really good car and he lived to fight another day. He never put it in the steward's hands. He took control of that and I thought Brody did a mega job. I was, like you said, a few people let him go and one of those is Matty Payne. And that disappointed me because I think Matty Payne had the speed to fight like Brock did. Because the moment he literally let him go. He never even looked like blocking him in race 1. But he stayed on the back of him the whole time. And when you can do that in dirty air, I know Brody would have been backing him up a little bit. But when you can drive that close, you've obviously got a pretty good car. And we saw what Kai Allen could do. Every time he got turned, I think in the first race, come back through to a top 10. He spun in race 3 or whatever it was onto the front straight with Brock Feeney and Aaron Cameron's incident. And stayed and just drove through again. Like those cars were fast. I would have loved to see a little bit more fight out of Matty Payne in that instance.
Yeah, I agree because I think Brody's car was definitely faster, I think, than Brock's car, but Brock still managed to hang on, even though Brody was faster. And I think Matty could have absolutely done that. I agree with you there. I think if he had made that thing as wide as he possibly could have, or at least, there's a couple of spots really where you can get a pass done. If he just sort of tried to maximise those, I think he could have won a race.
Yeah.
But well done, DJR. Well done to Brody, because he was just, his racecraft was on another level, and his speed was really good.
Yep. I got to say, Will, I feel like in his defence dropped the ball a bit.
Yeah.
I think that when Brodie got in front of Will, the gap he put on Will, I think would have been similar to what we would have seen with Brock.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that Brodie was so fast. Had he got past Brock, he would have put a gap on him quickly. Yeah. But Will made a mistake, locked the rears and let him go really on the first attempt to defend him, which was a shame.
Yeah, so Will was the other side of what Matty Payne was in my book. Will was fighting too hard.
Yeah.
Probably didn't need to go so defensive. And because he did go so defensive, that's why it's jagged the rears and he ran wide and then give it to Brodie. But so that's the difference in the guys. Like will fight tooth and nail to the end.
Which we saw in one of the races when he had a 15-second penalty, I think race 1. He fought tooth and nail and like...
Yeah, so that was interesting to see that the differences there. You know, Matty maybe being a little bit easy, that hurt him and maybe cost him a win. Maybe not, but it looked like that. Will fighting probably a touch too hard is what probably cost him the win as well. So, yeah, to me, just thought Brodie had heaps of bandwidth and was just able to place it where he wanted to and almost put people into those situations where Will locked the rears and where Matty maybe got caught napping and didn't expect him to bomb it up the inside or whatever. So
yeah. And I think, like you said, maybe that move where Will blocked, it didn't really look like that was going to be the lap Brodie could have had a shot at him either. No. But, you know, the thing is, Brodie's aggressive and he's going to have a crack. If he gets even the slightest inkling that he could do it, he will. So you do need to be prepared for that. And maybe, he was slightly over-prepared. But I will say the Triple Eight cars did not look great across the weekend for rear instability. It looked like their tyre wear was not a strength, which has been a strength for them generally. Like that's usually where they do get to midway through the race, especially at the Melbourne Grand Prix. We've seen those guys 1-2 manage tyres and go fast lap the race at the end.
Yeah.
And on the weekend, you can see them through the high-speed stuff. The cars were moving more than others and cars could stay tight, like we saw with Brodie, finishing tight through turn 8, and therefore just using less tyre. They're not sliding across the top of the road, even though it doesn't look like much, but when the car is moving on top of the road, you're getting that thermal deg, and then under braking, you can see the car moving. And that's where I think Will as well really struggled. He wasn't in a good window with the car balance, tried to defend, and the biggest weakness in the car just was amplified. It just had that rear instability and lock. But that's what was causing some of their deg. And a lot of people, when we talk about using 3 pedals, tyre wear on the entry to the corner is a big thing. That's why we use the clutch the way we do in a supercar. Because if you get the slightest amount of rear lock, the rear tyre temperature goes through the roof and then your drive's really bad. So you might say, I've got shit drive, I need more traction, but often it's rear instability. It's why places like Darwin, we run maximum rear wing because you come down into turn 4 and if the rear is unstable there, it cooks the rear tyre and you get bad drive. So I think we saw that at the Grand Prix and it was bad, I thought, for the Triple Eight cars. And that's where I thought that Penwright came out of the gate real strong and Brodie particularly was... He's dead. I mean, I think Penwright was quick at the start of the race in race 1, but Brodie was just like, he was just sitting there and was able to just get to midway through the race and turn it on. We saw him in that final race with Will. He come from like 4th.
Yeah.
Genuinely past cars, got to Will and still had tyre wear.
Yeah.
Passed him or pressured him into a mistake and got in front of him.
Yeah. And as you say, the characteristics between Brodie's car number 17 and 88 or Triple Eight under brakes, they look wildly different. So Triple Eight's up on the nose, dancing the rear where Brodie just put it where he wants, brake as late as you want, no rear lock. So
and the biggest strength session for Triple Eight was the morning qualifying. The track temperature was a lot cooler.
Right.
And the first thing Brock said when he was interviewed was that he felt the track came to him. And both cars were fast. And then afternoon, even though the Sunday was a morning race, it was pretty hot early. And I think that, they just struggled. Like Brock did a good job to hang on, but it didn't look like he was that happy with the car at the end of the race. I think he was moving around a fair bit.
Yeah.
So maybe, cooler track temp is where they really excelled in qualifying, and then when the track heated up, that might have been what was making the instability a little bit worse. That's typically where you start to see it.
Big turnaround for DJ, because I know we were critical at Sydney of them. I thought they were going to come out and do that at Sydney. They didn't, and then they've turned it around in a short period of time, and then, absolutely dominant at the GP with Brodie. So well done to those guys.
Well, I was saying, like, when do we see them turn the table? Like, what do they do now? They've done everything, brought new people, and it wasn't gelling. And then they just completely silenced me at AGP, and they go to New Zealand next, where Brodie was really strong. So this could be form that continues now. And if they have unlocked something, I really do think it's good for them not to have the HT. Ryan Story said in our pod he felt like it distracted everyone. There's a lot of work that goes in around that when they did the homologation for that.
Yeah.
And now they're able to focus on their own backyard and making their car as best it can possibly be. I will disclaimer, we were joking about the customer program, by the way. Some people thought we were serious. I'm like, yeah, but could you imagine if the best teams in the lane all were just customers of one team? Like we don't want to see. That's why we need Toyota, Ford and Chev in the championship. You don't want to see like AAA customer teams.
And there's plenty of smart people up and down. Like in every garage, there's 100%. Incredibly smart people. So they can work it out themselves. Like,
and I will say some of the teams internally I remember when I was at Walkinshaw, they were toiling. Do we just sign up to be a customer program for AAA just so we get the data and we can put ourselves on the right track? And I would always say, like, you've got smart people in those teams and you should empower them, like what Adrian Burgess was saying. You know, you want to empower your staff. So we joked about it, but at the same time, I'm just saying you do actually need to, especially DJR, Tickford, Penrite, Walkinshaw, AAA, they should be independent of each other.
Yeah,
I get when you give a customer program to someone like Blanchard, where it's a smaller team, we see it in Formula One.
Yeah.
But could you imagine if like Red Bull and Ferrari were just a customer of Mercedes, or like full customer program? You're watching the same car on track. And then the overtaking's worse because you have the same traits. The balance is the same. Yeah. So the strengths and weaknesses are there.
And they're driving the same because they've seen the data, they know what's going on.
So customer program would be the worst. If you think I was being serious, you're a peanut. I was joking. It would be the worst for our racing. So no. And also, I want to see Tommy Moore, like our mate, actually take it to Tickford and Triple Eight, and we want to see people in the lane actually.
We could have been the good luck charm. We had dinner with him on Wednesday, Thursday.
I can't remember now.
Thursday night.
It was when he won.
Yeah.
Because I took a photo of him on our socials and said, winner, chicken dinner. Yeah. But it was even that night I got slammed. Like prior to posting a photo of him for dinner, someone's like, "Yo, you're silent now, dickhead." And I'm like, we are mates with Tom. It's a fucking joke. Even at Wound Up Tom, remember, we were messaging. And it was
he sent me, I'd love to crawl through the phone and grab you by the throat. I think that's what he said on one of the videos. But
I don't think people realise how much everyone talks to each other sometimes. But it was good. I don't know. I think Will right now, I was a bit bummed for him because personally, obviously he's a good mate and I share the car. And it was great to see him get the pole personally because he needs to remind himself sometimes you can do it.
He can still drive.
Exactly. And also Brock's been so consistent. Like it wouldn't matter. They roll out those stats about how many times Brock's out-qualified Will. It would not have mattered who his teammate was. The stat would be the same. His qualifying average is like 2 last year. Like it was
crazy.
If he wasn't first, he was second. So if you wanted to out-qualify Brock, you had to be on pole. And like it wouldn't have mattered who that was. It could have been Brody. It could have been Cam. Cam's an amazing qualifier. And I think the stat would almost be exactly the same as it is for Will. I don't know if he's in the same car or not, if Cam would be able to do better or whatever, but Brock was doing well. It was good for me personally just as see a mate get some mojo back, and also for Andrew Edwards. I think to show that he can put a car on the grid that can qualify really well is good for them going forward.
Well, that's the thing. For the teams, you've always got, everyone works as a whole, but there's always two sides of a garage.
Exactly.
So you've got 2 engineers, 2 sets of mechanics, all that stuff. Yep. So it's always nice that the other side gets some love and reminds them that they're all just as good as the other side, and it all.
Yeah. And self-doubt, it creeps in everywhere. I think the mechanics when it comes to qualifying or outright speed, it's not too bad for them. Like obviously if they have issues, then things happen and they a few things go wrong in a row, then maybe they start to doubt themselves. But they're all mechanically doing things right. The car's sound. And then so it comes back to the drivers and engineers really starting to doubt themselves, and everyone has that throughout the lane. So when you see someone like even Brody have that weekend he did, that'd be a reminder for him to go, okay, we can still do it. Everyone would be like, and the crew would get that boost of confidence. And that it is dangerous. That's why we call it momentum.
Yeah.
It's not like momentum gives you the next result. It's the confidence you get from the results that gives you the momentum.
Well, it's also when you go into any of the garages and one side's got a heap of pole checks and trophies on the toolbox on Saturday and one doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a vibe there. Like it is those little cherries that lift people up. Momentum is so real, as you said. We saw it even in NASCAR with Tyler Reddick doing the 3-peat. Like you just get on these rolls sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be hard for Rylan Gray, I think, at the moment. Like he's going to have to just be really patient.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a steep learning curve for him, and he's got a great team. But as a rookie right now, you're going to feel you put the pressure on yourself. It's so hard not to because you're a competitor. So how do you think he's going right now as a rookie? What's his performance like?
I just think he's probably hasn't shown, but I think his speed is there. I think he's actually been quite close to Brody at times for outright pace, which is positive. Obviously, it shows he can do it. There'll just be a learning curve for the racing side of things, staying out of trouble, obviously maximising that quality, lap and things like that. He can obviously do the times. It's just doing it when you need to. If DJR keep going the way they're going with their cars, I think Ryan will have a strong mid to back half of the year once he works all that little stuff out. So I think he'll go well.
And what about what's your verdict on Premier right now? Are they meeting expectations, or do you think did you think they'd be better by now?
It's hard to tell because essentially they got one rookie in Ojeda, but Declan had done a couple of years ago with Tickford.
Yep.
So he's really kind of still a rookie in his supercar experience because it's been a couple of years between drinks there.
And also he'll be trying to bring back some confidence too, because it takes time when you have a bit of a rough run.
Yeah, exactly. He had a shit run at Tickford. It was the fourth car.
Yep.
Then, got dropped out. So I don't know if I expected more from them yet. I think it'll take a little bit for Roland and the team there to get that going in the direction they want.
Yep.
I think we saw glimpses. I think we've seen glimpses from both Jaden and Declan where they have got the speed and can do it.
Yeah.
But just the consistency is obviously not there yet. It's not lining up. So I wouldn't say I expect them to be higher up than what they are at this stage of the year. But I would expect by the end of the year there should be some decent improvement. And one of the two cars should regularly be in the 10 or 8. Yeah. And if not, then it's probably not a great season.
Job Stewart?
Job had a bit of a shit run, didn't he? He got belted off a couple of times and I think on the weekend. So, yeah, I mean, Cooper had some speed. So Erebus obviously struggled with their cars at Sydney. Both cars were just, for whatever reason, had no speed, it looked. So he obviously had a hard run there for his debut. On the weekend, it looked like Cooper had speed, but he just was a magnet for shit.
Yep.
It just found him everywhere. So he didn't get to show his true potential. But, yeah, Job's obviously had a tough couple of first rounds.
Yeah.
So I don't think we've got really a form guide on that yet, to be honest.
I think it's really a question that, like, even for me, I don't really have an opinion on how some of these guys are doing. I think it's just a great conversation between, as long as you keep it friendly in the comments.
Yeah.
But just pop in what you're thinking of, how do you think they're going? I think I have, because of my experience as a rookie, I think if you can stay out of trouble, not be a bit of hazard or cause too many issues, that's the first thing, right? Try and achieve every racing lap. And I think a lot of the guys are doing that. Like, I think it's been difficult. We saw Brock when he had his first sort of shit quali, how easy it is to get caught up in an incident.
I was just
So
going to
as a
say
rookie,
that.
it's hard, man. To stay out of trouble and not cause problems is hard. So I think a lot of these guys are doing a very good job.
Yeah.
When they're not qualifying, Jackson Moore was against qualifying like mid-pack, somewhat staying out of trouble. Like he did turn someone.
He turned Job, actually. I knew Job got.
He turned Job, actually.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I don't think he got penalised for it. But if you did that a few times, people will start to be like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it comes, right now that's Aaron Cameron's biggest problem at the moment, is just getting in too many incidents. He's super fast, but he's just getting involved in too much stuff. And Cooper did it in his rookie season, probably had a run of always being involved. So, I think a lot of the rookies are doing really well.
It is, as you say, it's so much harder for them because they are generally qualifying or starting in the shit. And like you see, you can put Brock down the middle pack. Will Stroke, he got crashed out in the last race.
Look at Will, he's bloody more hits than Elvis.
You put Dave Reynolds, who's been around for 100 years, great racer, in the middle of the pack, comes back and the thing looks like it's gone 12 rounds with Mike Tyson and he just cannot make moves.
Well, Russell Ingall once said, no, when you labour dogs, you get fleas.
Yeah.
When you're in the mid-pack, it's like, what are you going to do? You can't avoid it.
So it's, sometimes I think fans will look at it and go, oh, they're just always there. But you put anyone in that middle pack and it's so hard to make moves, so hard to stay out of trouble.
Yep.
And unfortunately, when you're a rookie, chances are you're probably qualifying down there a lot. So that's why it takes a year or so to get that momentum rolling.
Yeah.
Unless Brock was obviously very fortunate. He rolled straight into a Triple Eight car, fast car.
Yeah, in a season, I think Shane won 21 races. So the car that was not even a competition for anyone else.
Yeah, so he's been probably well managed or luck or whatever. Yep. But circumstances there are a little bit different. But most rookies that are not in a great car to start, you got to do that stuff. I think they're all, as you say, probably doing a good job. Because it is just, and on the weekend it looks so hard from, 8 back. It just looked like there was haymakers coming at everyone.
Mate, it was insane. And I say about Brock, people, the first impression's so important, but he had the fortunate position of always being like a top 5 car. And then so your rookie impression is like always going to be good.
Yeah.
But when you are in a car that maybe if you really pulled everything out of it, you're like 8 to 12.
Yeah.
And then if you're on the wrong side of the 10th, you're 17th. It's like wrong side of 1/10. And then all of a sudden you're 17th. And we saw Cooper, for instance, in the last race. He's in the grass trying to avoid everything. He's way to the left. And then you've got a car like Brock on the gas spinning around and cleaning him up. So you qualify down there, and I just don't see how you could not get caught up. And then you get this stigma of like, oh, you're always in the shit. But I actually think the rookies are doing a pretty good job of avoiding it at the moment. They're They're not always in it. And we do see people like Cooper, who's actually still in more wrecks, I think, at the moment than anyone. And even if he's not to blame, it just seems like he's always in them.
Yeah, this on the weekend at the Grand Prix, it felt like he was just a magnet for it. Didn't matter what he did.
Hunters, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our fantastic supporters, Shaw & Partners Financial Services. Shaw & Partners are a leading national investment advice and wealth management firm. They act for and on behalf of individuals, institutions, corporates, charities, and family offices. So, if you're looking for advice or assistance with investments or strategies, look no further than Shaw & Partners Financial Services. With a 35-year history and 8 offices strategically placed all over Australia, their financial advisors are within reach and ready to provide tailored solutions and advice. For more information, follow the link in the description of this podcast. Back to the show.
We'll talk about the crash in the last race.
Yeah.
So obviously, there's a couple of things that sort of got that going. I know everyone saw Brock's, losing a wheel and the spinning around, but to start it off, there was a couple of cars that got into each other off the start.
Yep.
Road wheels popped them up. That kind of started the whole chain of events.
I would love to know, when I spoke to you about it, even you were like, was it tyre or rim though? It's hard to know with the vision that we saw.
Yeah.
But if it is the rims that interlocked, so it was Ryan Wood, and I think it might have been Kai Allen.
Yeah.
And it broke something on Woody's car, which actually triggered the whole thing. Not Woody's fault. I think he just made a slow start and then connected with the Penrite
Everyone's
car.
4 wide.
And it broke the steering. And this is where, and it was funny when we spoke to Brock after, he actually sighted Woody straight away and let him go. So he's like, oh yeah, I saw him, and just lifted out of it for him to go. But when he lifted out of it, it caused the bottleneck right behind him. So when he's come across, the car on the middle, which then got hit by Macaulay Jones, which was Kai, I believe.
Yes.
And then it kicked him sideways, and then he tagged Brock. So the awareness there, Brock was like, I thought I was home and hose. Like, I'm like, oh, sweet, I spotted him coming, let him go.
Yep.
But it all winds back to the rims. And if it's not the tyres.
Interlocking of either tyre or rim,
Yeah, and this interlocking, and it's like, and it's the same with every incident. You got to go back to right back to the cause. And if it was interlocking wheels, like, when are we going to change the rims? I could be wrong. It might be tyres, and somehow maybe the angle of the wheels, whatever it might have been. Chances are, I'd say it's the rims. And we see it a lot in supercars. It tears the wheel out of your hands, breaks steering, tears the cars apart. That's why I was saying with Woody, I don't know why he swerved, because the risk of damage is pretty high in qualifying to hit someone. But in the race, I think that's what caused it. Supercars need to do something about it if it's the rims.
Oh, yeah. And then, obviously, so Brock got tagged. He kept his foot on the gas to spin it, which we sort of broke it down in that we were in the garage watching the race, and we sort of broke down. And my opinion was it worked for the first half of it, and Chaz did an amazing job to pull it up and not T-bone Brock. So hats off to you, Chaz, because, Brock kept in it. He spun back around. Chaz propped up, avoided him, and then as he spun back the other way, that's what's then it's popped out in front of poor old Cooper Murray, who was just doing a bit of mowing to try and avoid everything, and then all of a sudden Brock's right in front of him, bang, and it's ripped all the wheel and everything out of the car. So I think initially it worked for him, but then the secondary part, if he locked it down on the brake,
better.
Might have avoided everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Actually, you're right. Might have driven out the other side fine.
And that's obviously, how are you going to know? That's hindsight. That's,
Well, even Brock acknowledged that, didn't he? After he said, now I've seen it, like maybe I should have locked it down on the second part.
Yeah.
But
initially, Brock's trying to avoid a crash.
Yeah.
Now that he's had a crash, he's like, well, I should have just locked it down, had a smaller crash.
Yeah.
But, that's hindsight. I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, and I don't know, like...
We see it a lot in America, though.
I said to him, well, you fucking try and keep it out of the wall like an oval, just gas it up and drive it down the bank.
Yeah, I mean, I've always just been someone that locks it down, because I'm like, if I'm having a crash, I'll just have the smallest one I can have.
Yeah.
But it seems like lately it's more of a common thing where guys will just keep their boot in it.
Yeah, which...
It never really used to happen. I never used to see it much.
And chances are it doesn't usually work. Like, I think more often than not, locking it down, because we are on a flat track, it does seem to work. It brings you to a stop quicker than not. But I don't know. And it is one of those hindsight things. And if you are one of the people that jump in the comments and like, because it's funny, you post the video and the whole thing is just like everyone ripping Brock. And I was like, well, hang on. The start of the race, there was contact between two cars that broke steering, which bottlenecked everyone. And then Macaulay Jones got squeezed by Kai.
Went 3 wide into one and bang.
It turned Kai into Brock. But obviously it's so funny when you see like underachievers in the comment section. A high achiever has one bad day and all of a sudden it makes him feel good about himself. Like, fuck, that guy's useless. Like, he should be reprimanded or whatever. It's just a judgment call. In that moment, he thought the best thing was to flick it, made a mistake. He got it wrong. Should have locked it down.
Well, he didn't know there was cars on the grass. So he's just at the time thinking, I'm going to get myself off the black stuff.
Yeah, had he not been hit by Cooper, maybe he would have got away with it. Had spun onto the grass and been out of the way.
If all the other cars stayed on the track, he would have been fine. But you don't know.
You don't. And that's the thing. And he owned up. He did say, I got it wrong.
Spectacular.
But didn't know until I'd watched it on the vision.
Spectacular accident, though. As you said, all the parts that come off the car. And as we touched on, the car probably doesn't look that bad.
Yep.
They'll be able to repair that. So it was a big one. And unfortunately, it took a while to clean it up. We lost a few laps and things like that.
Yep.
But, yeah.
I think they did a good job to clean that up as fast as they did because the time restraints for this time certainty is so strict at Grand Prix. And you said, I don't reckon I'll get going again here.
Well, I actually said, well, this might work for Brock because if they don't get 75% of the race dins, he might lose no points here.
Yeah, and we were laughing saying that could be like last year where it rained on Sunday and Will ended up winning the trophy, the Peter Brock trophy.
Larry Perkins trophy.
Larry Perkins, because, yes, Brock wasn't able to score points on Sunday with the wet race. So, no, I think they did well to clean it up. And luckily, none of the drivers were actually hurt because it was quite a big shunt. It was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too bad. I think the car will be repaired. They flew some of the crew home Sunday night straight away to get onto it.
Yeah. There's probably worse damage on Cooper Murray's car, actually.
Probably.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. Yeah, I think he just seemed to tear everything off. So as long as the centre part of the cage isn't damaged, it should be fine. Championship points. Should we just highlight that quickly? So Brody Kostecki is leading the title, 485 to 457 over Cam Waters. So Cam Waters is someone who's been a bit of a quiet achiever this year. He's someone that hasn't had spectacular car speed, but he's sitting P2 and doing a mega job at this point in the season to just bank points. And who knows where, if their car performance goes in the right direction, he's done the right thing, right? When you can't score the maximum, like when you can't win races, you score the maximum. He's doing that.
It shows how much chaos there's been across we had 7 races so far for the year.
Yeah.
Because you say, Cam's had a couple of podiums. He had one at GP.
Yeah, yep. At Sydney, yep.
But you would probably say for Cam, for how good Cam is, he's flying under the radar currently.
Definitely.
And so for him to be in second, it just shows how much shit has been going on everywhere else.
Yeah.
Because he definitely hasn't had the second fastest car.
No, I mean, arguably the second fastest car this year is probably Aaron Cameron. Right. And I'll jump to him because he's P19 in the championship.
Yeah. So that's the difference. I think that car's qualified in front of Cam every race. Or close to?
I'm not sure. I think so. I think you're right. And also, it hasn't been out of the top 10 in qualifying yet this season. So you put Cam, say, in that car, and he's
winning the championship.
Maybe winning the championship. It's just experience. Nothing against Aaron Cameron. He's 1 year in, and he's got a great car now, and he needs to just capitalise on it. But third is Brock Feeney. And it is interesting. This is where it comes back. He's lucky that there was 4 races across the weekend. By having that DNF, he hasn't lost a lot. And him and Brody have won 3 races apiece now. So from 7 races, Brock and Brody have 3 of the 7, and Anton has the other. So fourth is Matty Payne.
Yep.
Anton De Pasquale is 5th with that 1 race win. Jack LeBrock, is 6th. Ryan Wood 7. Kai Allen is 8. 9 Golding. And P10 is Chaz. So we've got 2 Toyotas in the top 10 of the championship, which I think is actually really good.
Bit of a Ford Cup though, isn't it, at the moment, mate? Top 4 of Fords. 8, 9
it is,
Ford.
but you got to be... There's a lot of Fords in with good teams, Like I think...
I want to give a shout out to Jack LeBrock MSR. For him to be 6th.
Yeah,
that's a similar job to what Cam Waters has been doing, staying out of trouble, probably haven't had the fastest cars. I think Jack finished 4th in the last race at the GP, so they obviously found a little bit of speed there, but seemed like they didn't have speed to run with the top 3.
Yep.
So, yeah, shout out to Jack and MSR. They're doing a good job with that car. And we've seen Zach Bates has been fast, but he obviously had a bit of a tough GP weekend.
Yeah, he did. He got caught up in a few incidents. Actually, Zach, I think didn't mention him with rookies, but I think his speed has been good at Sydney. He didn't qualify as well at the Melbourne Grand Prix, but his race how he's going in the races, probably he'd be looking for some improvement there because like Sydney had great speed, kept dropping back, and in Melbourne got caught up in a few incidents. But yeah, again, we'll hold tight on any of that. I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah, so Brody will go into Taupo with the orange numbers on the car.
He will actually, yes. So yeah, I mean that's a pretty good confidence boost, isn't it, for those guys going back to a place they won at last year?
Yeah,
I think they're going to be pretty tough to beat at Taupo actually. Taupo.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. I actually thought that was reasonable racing last year.
And Triple Eight struggled there.
Right.
Remember, I think they did. They messed up qualifying. We talk about formats. I remember, I think Confidence...
Tickford were right there too, actually. This could be good.
Confidence got the better of them, I believe, by memory. I could be wrong here, but I think they didn't do an extra run and will end up qualifying like 20th in one race, but their race pace was good. They came back through.
High deg track, isn't it?
Chaz was fast, yeah. Chaz was fast. The Penrite cars were both fast, and Brody got a win there too. So
it's actually, I reckon it might be a belter because a few of the guys were really quick there. Like Payne will be fast.
Yep.
Ryan Wood,
Payne won.
Ryan,
He won the Jason Richards Trophy there last year.
Woody will be good. I think the Toyotas will probably go all right there. I might even say a Toyota might win a race at Taupo.
You've almost picked everyone. So your predictions, surely one of them will be right.
Well, that's, it's a numbers game, mate. I pick 5 people. My odds are pretty good.
I do want to say that I actually, because it's like Jamie said some stuff on the pod and obviously everyone thinks we're hating on him, but we did say even after Sydney, the Toyota ticked their box and then the performance gain, whether there's anything in what was referenced or not, who knows? But their performance trajectory is going in the right direction, especially after like Ryan had a couple of bad races, but he's still 7th in the title in the championship chase, and Chaz is 10th. And I think for their first season, that they're going to be annoyed. Like I spoke to them at the KO night we did, and they were both a bit bummed because they're like, well, we've come off the fastest cars at the end of the year last year, and then now we're not. Yeah. But we've got to accept that it's going to take time. Probably ahead of where
100%.
we all thought they might be, and with the format the way it is, doesn't matter.
No, that's right.
If they can get through to be the final 4, they only need to be good then. You get outside of Bathurst, they're in the 10, make it through the final 4. We saw Carlin last year make it. So, yeah, they're in good form.
Bold statement early. This is round 2 of the championship, but we're at this stage, I would say we're more likely to see a Toyota in the final 4 than we are a Chev.
That is a bold statement. I still think Anton is going to be good throughout the year.
He's already won a race, but...
I mean, my bold statement was the Toyota could win the championship.
I think the Toyotas are going like this, and it looked like from Sydney, it looked like the GP Chevs weren't as strong as they were in Sydney. There seemed to be a deficit there. I don't know whether it's team driver. I have no idea. I'm just saying, looking at them on track, they didn't seem to be able to fire a shot like the Fords could, and I would say the Toyotas almost look better than the Chevs for speed.
Yeah, and especially at a track where the Chevs have had historically
really good.
They've been very good. I hope you're enjoying this episode, but I do have to interrupt just quickly to thank our fantastic supporters that allow us to create the content for you. East Coast Car Rentals. If you're in the market for a rental car, think of those guys. And if you'd like a cheeky 15% discount, AHU15 is the discount code there for 15% off. If you're in the market to buy a car, not rent one, Lancaster Motor Group, we've got you covered for new or used cars. So think Lancaster Motor Group. Quadlock, fantastic supporter of our podcast as well. We use their products every single day on the pod using their desk mounts here. Also, we've used them to create the additional content like we did the Adelaide Motorsport Festival using their action camera mounts. So whether it's mounts, phone cases, they've got you covered. Quadlockcase.net. Now, the website for all of these brands that support us will be in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. NASCAR.
Phoenix.
Let's roll into it.
Let's do it, mate.
Read the race results, buddy.
Okay, so we had Ryan Blaney win it from Christopher Bell. Seabell had a very fast car, but Blaney got it done in the end. Kyle Larson was 3rd. Ty Gibbs had another strong weekend in 4th. Denny Hamlin, my boy, in 5th. Bubba Wallace, 6th. William Byron, 7th. Tyler Reddick in 8th. Michael The Real Show McDowell in 9th. Eric Jones, 10. And I'll go to 11 because SVG finished 11.
He did. We were laughing earlier. We're like, I know it's only one spot, but when he was running top 10 with a couple laps to go, it just sounds better when you're like, SVG got another top 10.
And they give a stat for a top 10. They go stat for top 10, top 5 and a win.
They do.
But yeah, 2 laps to go, unfortunately. Jonesy, Eric Jones, got SVG, but very eventful day for Shane. He had a tyre go down, which caused a spin. He had a spin as well. So he was in the shit, got back up. Solid day, so well done.
And 23 to go, there was a safety car, there's a caution. And some cars took 2 tyres, some took 4. I think Shane was planning on taking 4 if it happened, but because of the tyre puncture, I don't think he had a left front. Is that what he said to us?
Yeah, he said he didn't have a left front, so they had to go 2.
So I had to take 2 tyres. But it actually worked out okay because with 12 to go, there was another caution, which was a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card for anyone that took 2 tyres because it meant there wasn't enough laps for the 4 tyre stoppers to get the advantage back.
And JGR almost did what they did Denny in the championship race, and they went for 4 and it actually cost Bell. So that was a lesson not learnt there from Joe Gibbs Racing. Blaney passed, 50 cars across the day?
Like 49 cars or something I heard the commentary say.
That guy can just get through traffic. I know we've said it before, but he's just...
We said it like Daytona and stuff. He just finds these... He just runs and gets through.
Gets up on the wheel and drives that thing and just can pass cars like no one else. It's unbelievable.
And got a feel for Seabell. He led 176 laps.
Yeah. He was so dejected. For a second place finish...
Yeah, the one that got away, he called it again.
Yeah, and he's had a rough start. So you'd think with the new system, the chase format, he'd be wrapped to bank points.
Yep.
But he was still just so, which I like saying that. I like saying that when drivers give a shit.
Yeah.
Even with what most people would think was a good day.
Yep.
Very dejected.
The amount of tyre failures on the weekend, I do think if that was here in Australia, because we're very critical of like anything like that fails, Dunlop would be getting.
Oh yeah.
I think it could be different because Goodyear is such a partner with the championship. Like they're developing tyres for every circuit, so they're never going to be too critical because I think they want a tyre that digs. They want to have all these elements, so they are making a tyre, and maybe they give them a little bit more benefit of the doubt when something goes wrong.
It's the same with parity though over there, mate. Like there is parity things. They just don't talk about it publicly.
Yeah.
Where here we do. So yeah, it's just a difference in culture, maybe, or I don't know what it is. But
like
you're right.
Yeah.
Because there was a shitload of tyre, and we even saw it at the final last year.
Yeah.
In NASCAR, heaps of tyres went down. Like that caused the shit fight that turned out to be.
And maybe it's set up. Like maybe the teams are responsible. I don't know. So maybe that's why they don't. Like, with the rotors exploding, they were saying that's a setup thing.
Yeah, they had that happen on the weekend too.
Yeah.
But they just don't talk about it.
And then is it the debris that was causing the punctures?
Well, that's what a couple of them were saying. The bits of rotor and pad floating around. Then, okay, well, is it Goodyear's problem or is it debris? What's going on? But there was a lot. For NASCAR, it's not such a bad thing because it creates caution, creates excitement, creates restarts.
Yeah.
They've already brought in stages to try and help that. Then they have this stuff going on, but there was definitely a few.
Yeah, and it did make the racing exciting. Like we talked about this with the road course, the oval debate, and it's like without the cautions, without the stages, the ovals aren't really that exciting until the very end of the race. So
tend to go.
It did make it exciting. I love seeing the 2 tyre versus 4. I'm still a huge fan of their pit stops anyway. I think
I love seeing them in the lane.
Yeah, so good. But it was cool to see at the end, Shane almost get a top 10, and we had a chat with him last year when we were over there. I think he said the finishing average for the champion of previous 10 years in NASCAR, in the old format was like 9th.
Yeah.
So in the chase format, so prior to the playoff
Finals,
thing. But he said, so if you could have a finishing average of P9, you've got a pretty good chance of winning the championship. And not saying Shane's going out there to try and win this year. He'll be trying, but he's not got the expectation that's going to happen. But I feel like he's nailing that. I think you said his finishing average is about 12.
I think it's 12.25, something like that.
12.2. Yeah. So if you take Daytona out of it, where he had bad luck there, and
he's like 7 or 8.
His finishing average is right there.
Yeah.
And we've only really done 2 ovals, 1 road course as part of the championship.
4 rounds now.
4 rounds in, are we?
We're 3 ovals. Because we're Daytona, Bowman Gray.
No, we're 3 because
Phoenix.
Reddick didn't make the 4P.
Yeah, that's right.
So we've seen a bit of an array of circuits, and he's done well at all of them. At Daytona, he would have got a great result.
Yeah.
So he is on target. If he can just get that finishing average and continue with that, then we won't just see him make the chase. He'll be a top 10 contender come the chase, and he's 5th in points at the moment after the 3rd event.
Second Chev.
4th event, sorry.
Yeah, second Chev, 5th in the points. He's leading Trackhouse at the moment. The other team, yes, they've had dramas and Connor's had crashes and things like that, but it's a good start for him. But as you say, Shane is, I think people underestimate how what he thinks about and how smart he is. And as you say, he will be knowing days where he has to hold him and run 15th, he'll run 15th.
Yeah.
Days when he's got a chance of a top 5 or a win, he'll have a crack.
Yeah. And in Supercars, he said that the finishing average to win is usually 3rd, 2nd. So when you are trying to get a higher number achieving, like you said, 15th, you'll take a 15th.
Yeah.
It's not going to damage the finishing average that bad.
No.
When 9th could get it done.
Biggest thing in that is stay out of wrecks. Just bank points, right?
Yep.
Exciting to watch. I mean, there was some big crashes out there. Logano fenced Ross Chastain, though. Phoenix is weird because they use the apron.
Yeah.
They kind of run off the track and use the flat apron and then come. So I don't know if I kind of agree with that, but anyway, they do. And
I think I like it because as a fan, you're like, there's that, oh, fuck, and I go down the inside as the potential wreck and it changes. If it was maybe just the oval, you wouldn't get that. But I'm with you. I don't know. It feels weird when you see it happen.
Because some start, but some just check hard left down it. But anyway, Logano dropped down on the apron with Ross, went to push him, got him in a really awkward time as they were sort of hitting the flat. It sent Ross up. Big shunt. Poor Austin Cindric copped a huge hit out of that.
Massive, yeah.
So that was a very big hit that Austin got. No fault of his own, just minding his own business, and then bang.
I would have thought that Logano could have managed that better. In that moment, I feel like someone of his experience should not misjudge going down onto the apron like that and shoving Ross. Shane talks about it with us, like last year, explaining how every driver tries to earn their stripes in the draft, and you know which guys to trust. Surely Logano in that, I know he's aggressive, but you trust him, and that was a
He's one of the best 3-time champion.
It was a pretty bad bump, I thought, at the bottom there. When you know you're coming off onto the apron, you would lift out of it a little bit, maybe give some space.
Yeah, he was pole sitter too. So
Yeah, he was
whether it was front, I'm not sure. It was out of character, I would say. Like,
Yep. But yeah, big shunt.
big old shunt. And Phoenix is always a good place for Penske. So obviously Ryan Blaney is a Penske driver. They won. IndyCar were also there, and Penske won it in the IndyCar. So they had a very good weekend in Phoenix as an organisation.
I thought that was crazy, right? Like Newgarden has such good form at that circuit. And yeah, for Penske, it makes no sense that they can have. You can't be like, oh, it's a Penske track, and that's why they're good in IndyCar and NASCAR. They couldn't be further from each other, and yet they have.
They've obviously got the secret sauce for Phoenix. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what they're running. Open wheeler, stock car, they're there.
Actually, got to say too quickly, Blaney's burnout much better.
Yeah.
Good burnout this time. What did you rank the burnout? Because he's normally one that doesn't like it. What do you say? It's like getting off a race, or he like giving your horse a flogging at the end of a racehorse or something.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't like doing it because it damages the engine.
I'll give it a 7. I mean, he's pretty friendly with SVG. Maybe Shane's been teaching me how to do a skid.
Yeah, maybe.
Him and Bubba, and I think they talk a bit. So
I thought it was good. It's funny though because they tear up the cars, right? There'll be a wreck and they hold it flat and drive through and just tear it apart. And yet after a win, he doesn't want to valve bounce it. He's like, no, I don't want to hurt the engine, even though it's going to get stripped and rebuilt and everything. But you would tear it apart to just make the finish line.
that sounds like an excuse to me. Maybe he knows he's no good at skids.
I don't know. I thought the one at Phoenix was all right anyway.
Ty Gibbs feels like he's starting to find some form over the races this year. He's been sort of running top 5 and things like that.
And he gets a hard rap, doesn't he?
He does get a hard rap, but I mean, you've put in here. When do you think his first win's coming? Obviously, when's it going to be?
Can't come soon enough, I'm sure. But I just want to see it soon because you see how many people have like jagged a win. I feel like he's right there. You know, finished 4th on the weekend, right behind Larson, and he was there throughout the day.
And he's very good in Xfinity too. Like, I know once he's gone to Cup, everyone's like, oh, giving him shit, Nepo baby and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He's earned his stripes to be there, I think, going on his form in Xfinity. And yes, okay, he's always probably had good cars, but that's good on him. Like, he can't help that he was born into a family that have a great race team.
No, exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with him. I think his win's coming. I don't know when, but I think, sooner rather than better also. I think he's deserving of that, and hopefully it silences a few people that give him a bit of a rough time.
Yeah, I mean, Denny Hamlin, we know how good he is there. Beat him on the weekend. Led 12 laps. Denny led 5. It's not, I think you need to sometimes like isolate each event, and there are people that just get that Nepo baby thing and can't shake it. So you need to get out there. The only way to change it is by getting success.
Well, that's what I loved about, like, we still get the Boffins talking about Shane doesn't know how to drive around an oval, but he qualified at and Phoenix, Shane said to us, wasn't a track that he felt strong at last year. Probably one of the weaker ones for him. He qualified ahead of Chase Briscoe, who had the most poles last year.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, he qualified, what was it, 18th?
18th.
But he's still ahead of, guys like Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, all these people that are considered absolute guns. So I just find that stuff still a little bit funny as well.
Yeah. I would still love to know as well just how competitive the Trackhouse cars are.
Well, and that's the thing. There is a little bit of an unknown there, right?
Yeah.
And on the weekend, Shane was the best of them. And in the points, he's the best by a long way.
Yeah.
So,
I thought, I was still going back to the road course, actually. Ross, I'm excited to see what he does through the road courses because we've given so much credit to Shane and Connor. And yet Ross out-qualified both of them at Coda. So, and he'll be benefiting from Shane and Connor. But he was the best performer on the road course in qualifying. So, I'm looking forward to see what Ross can do on a road course because I feel like he's going to have a bit of a chip on his shoulder too, going, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I can do this thing. I can turn right too,
Yeah,
I can stop a car.
I'm one of the only ones that can turn right too from over here.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we've only got 3 left for the season. Doesn't that suck?
That does suck big time.
Hearing that is actually shit. I hadn't actually thought about that.
That's ruined my night.
Sorry, mate.
Fuck.
Sorry, Hunters, but that's...
It's too many, though. Honestly, we need more ovals.
I know. Bloody hell.
3. Yeah, fuck, that is actually really annoying. All right.
Points, let's talk points. I read us through the points there just quickly, Scotty boy.
Where did I put the points?
Next slide. We've got Tyler Reddick in first.
Oh, thanks for taking that away from me. That's actually a big surprise, isn't it? But Reddick, what's his finishing average? He says like
2 point something.
2 point something. Ridiculous. But he didn't make the 4P. I think he finished 8th.
8th, I think, yeah.
But yeah, Reddick ahead of Blaney. Blaney's up 2. Bubba Wallace, P3. He's down 1 spot. Chase Elliott is P4. Shane's still holding tight. P5 is the second Chev, which is actually, that's unreal to be right behind the Hendricks of Chase Elliott and be the second Chev. Mega. Seabell 6th. JGR. And then 7th is Logano. Logano's down 1 spot as well. Michael, the real show McDowell, your favourite is P8. P9, Chris Buescher, and P10, Kyle Larson. It's a bit of a mixed up order because you go to 11th, you got Byron, P12, Denny Hamlin. These are the ones you start to think, hang on, why am I missing these? Like, there are drivers that you go straight away, like Ross Chastain, P23. And so the top 10 feels like you've missed a couple. But
yeah. I tell you what, I've said it a lot of times, but Spire have fast cars, man. Daniel Suarez qualified 4th. Carson Hocevar was 7th again. Yeah, okay, they got caught up in some shit. But I would almost say Spire are the top, for just outright car speed, are the top Chev team.
McDowell's Spire, isn't he?
Yes.
I've got to say, I know that we're not the biggest fans of him, mainly because of the shit that he was giving Shane. Like, I think he really overrated himself.
He just has to apologise. Come in the comments, put in the comments, mate, and say, I'm sorry, and we're all good.
Yeah, but I know that, I'm very stubborn, but I am prepared to say I think Michael McDowell is doing a great job.
100%.
Not just the Spy, but I actually think McDowell is doing really well this year.
He's a very good all-rounder too. I know we give him shit, but he is actually an all-rounder. He can do road courses and he can do ovals.
And he's one he's kind of been out of trouble this year, and that's why he's in the 10.
Those cars are good though, I reckon. Top Chev team, I'm calling it. Like for car speed at the moment, they are.
You reckon?
Well, they just seem to.
I feel like on the ovals and the races, Shane's pretty good. I mean, not compared to like a Hendricks, but they're having obviously bad runs. But
I'm saying is outright 1 lap speed. Their qualifying across the 3 Spy cars has been very good.
You reckon Spy's the fastest Chev team?
Just on cars. Yeah.
Well, what else could it be?
No, in the lane and stuff, they might be losing positions and things like that.
I was going to say.
But just purely on car speed, which goes to, they're talking about, Chris Gapehart that left JGR. He's been JGR's was potentially going to sue him because they thought all their IP was going to Spire. They had a private investigator go and follow him around. I don't know if you saw that article. It popped up maybe today or yesterday. So it's interesting that their trajectory's gone like this.
Yeah.
So I could see why Joe Gibbs probably got the shits because he's probably thinking, well, how have they all of a sudden now weapon quick and one of our blokes has gone over there? But I just think they're very...
You might have just solved the mystery. With that one.
Well, do you think?
Possibly. One that's having a tough one as well is Austin Cindric. It's P30.
Yes.
And he's up 1 after the weekend. Up 1 spot. But P30 in the championship in the Penske. And Chase Briscoe.
Yeah.
33rd in championship points.
Well, we're lucky there's still a shitload of racing to go.
I know it can change fast, but after a few events, and the thing is, I think it was the tyre failure for Chase on the weekend that put him out of the race. But this format, I don't know, it's weird, like the old one.
Wouldn't have mattered last year.
But also William Byron, he's running, I think he was P2 and then won the regular season last year, I thought, the in-season championship. And now he's out of the top 10. And it's funny how maybe mindsets have started to come into play where people are maybe being more conservative than they would have and getting caught up in wrecks and things. Because
not driving as freely maybe,
Maybe. And it has changed because the guys that you typically put in top 5, this is just literally a fan, might be a fucking idiot. Might be totally off.
Could be.
But sometimes very well could be, Scott. But it is one of those things that when the format changes, like we talked about sprint racing with supercars, when the points aren't as great, you see people race more aggressively.
Yep.
But when the points are higher per race, people go more conservative. But then sometimes when you're not driving through field and you aren't as relaxed about it, you make more mistakes or you get caught up in more wrecks.
Yeah.
So you're just going for a win.
Great point, mate, because last year with the old format, they would have been every race going, if I win, I'm good. And if I wreck this weekend, I'll just go win the next one. I'll still be okay.
Yeah.
Where now, as you say, it can make a big difference, those small mindset changes. So it's a good shout. Next race for NASCAR, mate, is the glitz and glamour, the bright lights of Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
They are. I'm sure all the drivers will turn up for the race after a big night.
Yeah.
But yes, good luck to our man Shane. I don't know if I'm interested in what Reddick does. He was fast again this weekend, but it'd be... he's kind of the one I'm watching because, I don't know, I support seeing how much someone can get it done. And with his start of the season, I want to see how 23-11 goes.
Yeah, no, they're still strong. So that'll be an interesting race. So I'm looking forward to tuning into that.
Vegas, baby, next Monday. How good is it? Every time you wake up on a Monday morning here in Australia, we get to just, like this morning, I woke up, bang, straight away turn KO on.
Wish it was Sunday, though. I'm always in meetings when it's like the last 10 laps.
That's true, and it does go late.
Today was all right because public holiday, but Victoria, but... Maybe NASCAR can move into Sundays.
I wonder if they would. Yeah, I'm sure they listen to this show.
Send them an email.
But, anyway, thanks everyone for listening. See you next episode.
Thanks, Hunters.